Hey there, this is Terry Wheat from OnceUponAWheat.com, our travel blog. I want to talk to you about Washington, D.C. This is something that I looked for and couldn't find anywhere when we were going last fall, and so I thought you might be interested too. As far as the National Mall, seeing the DC monuments and memorials either day or night, I feel like all of them are beautiful, but some are far better in the day and some are far better in the night. And so I want to give you a rundown and pictures of each so that you can see all in one place. If you only have time, if you're just running through the city and you only have time, maybe an hour or two, the monuments and memorials are probably more stunning at nighttime. And you know, you see them in movies and TV shows a lot, at least a couple of them in particular, and they usually focus on it in the daytime, and so seeing them at night you don't always get to see, and they are just glorious. So, but there is a variety. We took a nighttime bus tour, which is a great way to do it. The city bus doesn't circulate around the mall past 7 p.m. and so that was a great way to go, except if it is your very first time seeing the monuments and memorials. If everyone else on the bus has already seen them before and isn't as amazed and doesn't want as many pictures and doesn't want to spend as much time, then you may feel a little rushed. The National Mall felt really safe when we were there. We were out as late as probably 11 at night, and they are open 24 hours. The rangers are there until 10 p.m. and it's such a touristy area and has so many people walking around and seeing things that we didn't feel in danger, didn't feel like it was unsafe. There are a couple of memorials that are a little more secluded, and then around the tidal basin, we did not walk the tidal basin at night, and that is more secluded with a wall and with trees, and so that may be a little bit of a different feel, but in general it was really good. So we'll start down at the far end of the National Mall with the Capitol. And the Capitol is huge. You've seen it on TV many times, and I think it is far more stunning at night. It is just lit up so beautifully. It literally brought me to tears from the history of it. Just everything about it was really cool to see. So definitely see that at night. Washington Monument, that is the one that's like a tall steeple, and this one has two answers. So if you're just looking at the Washington Monument itself, then it is more stunning at night, I believe. It is lit up in its full height, and you can see it from several areas around there, from a couple blocks away. If you want to go up inside, that is only available until 5 p.m. And I would strongly suggest that too, because you want to go up inside. You can see the whole mall and parts of the city from a sky-high view and a really cool look at the White House. The World War II Memorial, this one is one that you don't really see. It's not as well known, but it is gorgeous. It is one of my favorites. It is full of a lot of fountains. It's really large. You walk through different areas of it, and it is just beautifully lit. The fountains are beautiful even in the day, but it is a must-see at night for sure. The Vietnam Wall, it is lit up lightly, although it's haunting and it is beautiful. I feel like it's more moving during the daytime when you can see it better, because at night the lights were kind of low to the ground and you couldn't really see all the thousands and thousands and thousands of names of people who died over there, and you can't see how long the wall is. Then there's also a Vietnam women's statue and then a 3 soldiers Vietnam statue, and there is a nearby street light, but they are really dim. You couldn't get good pictures of them. You could hardly see their faces in the night, and there are a lot of trees, and so extra shade from even the moonlit light. And so I would highly suggest seeing the Vietnam Memorial in the daytime. If you can see everything both day and night, I recommend it. But if you have to pick one, the Vietnam Wall should be daytime. The Korean War Memorial, that was really neat, and I was excited just from looking at pictures online of what it looks like lit up at night. I was really excited to see that. It looks like the figures walking through are really ghostly and haunting. And the disappointment is that when we were there, all of the lights were out, and so you couldn't get any pictures. We tried and tried, and we have a good camera, and they were just too blurry. There was a pretty good moon out, but you just couldn't get good pictures of it, and you couldn't even see them that well. As long as the lights are out, I would suggest seeing those during the day, but if they get the lights back on, I would say it's probably even more haunting and moving during the nighttime. Lincoln Memorial, that's probably the most well-known, at least the most televised and in movies. I would suggest seeing Lincoln Memorial at night in particular. It is lit up beautifully with a really warm glow, and then if you're standing on the far end, it is perfectly reflected in the reflecting pool. A lot of times you can see the moonlight, and then if you're standing at Lincoln Memorial and looking at the reflecting pool, you can see Washington Monument perfectly lit up on it. It is so gorgeous, so that one definitely at nighttime. The Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, it is stunning. It's a large statue that it has a wall with many of his quotes, and it's not a lot different day or night, but I think nighttime is better, you know, things lit up, especially something so large and mammoth in size. It was more beautiful at night, so I would suggest that. The FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial is nearby. It's through a path and trees and a wall, and so it's a little bit secluded. And the statues are relatively small, and we didn't go at night because we were on the night bus tour, but by looking online, it didn't look like the lighting was terribly spectacular and much different than it would be in daytime. There is a small waterfall, maybe 9 foot tall or something, and it was pretty online looking at it, but I don't think it's worth going out of your way unless you just want to see it at night. I think seeing it during the day is fine, especially if you're by yourself in particular. You may not want to go down that secluded walk by yourself. Around on the far end of the tidal basin, which is like a lake, is the Jefferson Memorial, and it is domed and it has the pillars, and then Thomas Jefferson is sitting on the inside. Beautiful. And at night, like Lincoln Memorial, it is lit up with a really warm, bright glow, and so I would suggest seeing that at night. And then also the tidal basin out front, it reflects beautifully on that if you're at the other end. But if you're sitting right outside Jefferson Memorial, then you can see the Washington Monument, you can see the moonlight. Everything is lit up so pretty, reflecting on the tidal basin, that you definitely want to see that one at nighttime. Now, everyone has seen the White House on TV, and so you kind of know what it's going to look like, but it is not as dramatic as some of the other buildings or places. It's kind of traditional, it's a little more simple, and even though it is a very large home, it is dwarfed by like the Department of Treasury and all these other mammoth buildings around Washington, that it kind of takes away from how cool and how beautiful it is a little bit. And so when it's lit up at night, it kind of just looks like a mansion lit up at night, which is beautiful, but I think it's even more beautiful in the day. And as I said earlier, if you get to go up in Washington Monument during the day, you get a great sky view of the White House. So that is really a great way to see it. And then if you end up getting a White House tour, which you have to book months and months and months, there's a whole process to do that. If you get to go on a tour, you get to get really close. It's your only chance to be that close, and you can go right out front. And so that's another great way to see it during the day. The World War I Memorial is just like a little portico with pillars. It looks like something you may even see at just a national cemetery. It's kind of off on its own along the path, and if you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't know what it was. So they are building another World War I monument that's going to be much grander in scale. And so until that comes along and we see whether that's better at day or night, the current one that they have is better at nighttime because it is lit up and it is really pretty along the path. Over in Arlington, which is just minutes away from the National Mall in Washington, D.C., they have the Marine Memorial, and that's the iconic, I'm sure you've seen it, the men who raised the flag in Iwo Jima in World War II, and it's a beautiful memorial and it is lit up at night and so beautiful. So I would suggest seeing that one at night. And then the other major one that is in Arlington is the Air Force Memorial, and it has these huge swoosh. They're supposed to be flight paths of jets going up into the air. I don't know how high, but very high and beautiful, but lit up at night. Oh my goodness, it's breathtaking. The way they're metallic and the way the light reflects off of that, and you have a gorgeous view of the city. So definitely see that one at night as well. So, and that's all for the monuments and memorials. We have other articles and videos about Washington, D.C. and many other places that we visit and things that we do on our travel blog on onceuponaweek.com. So come visit us there and then sign up so that you get our updates, what's going on behind the scenes with us, things that we do not put out on social media. We will email you twice a month to tell you about those things, new posts and all of those things, so sign up there. And then don't forget to like and subscribe the video because it helps us so much for people to get to see our videos, but it also makes sure if you just subscribe that you won't miss any of our videos. So, and then come follow us on social media. We'd love to talk to you there. We are available on Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram and Twitter, as well as YouTube. And then keep the emails coming. I love to hear them. I love communicating with you. Leave a comment if you have a question, if there's something else that you want to see or know about. And thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you soon.